Perfect. So, hey everyone, thank you so much for jumping on this call today. My name is Hattie. I'm an independent consultant and an executive area manager with Arbonne. Still feels crazy to say that. And just a quick disclaimer, this is an effort-based business opportunity and there are no income guarantees. So if you would like to check out average annual earnings, please visit earnings.arbonne.com. So for today's training, I'm just going to run through exactly how you can nail your first 30 days in Arbonne. And I know we have had so many new people join recently, so this should really help you. But also, if you've been in Arbonne for a while, I hope this training really helps you to guide a new starter to get set up for success as well. So I appreciate this may be me kind of listing a whole lot of things. And possibly not in a logical order because I did this today and it just came to my head and that's how I kind of did it. Sorry, where am I? So yeah, and I appreciate I might be running through this quite quick and obviously, you know, you can't all write that quick. So this is being recorded and you can go back and watch it when you need to. So firstly then, so how we love an anagram. So it really is as easy as, remember this, so it's as easy as A, B, C. So these are the main three things that you want to focus on when you first start your business. So in your first month, A for activity, get into activity as soon as possible with the help of your sponsor. So what that basically means is getting people in front of the Arbonne opportunity. I cannot stress that enough. That is what we get paid to do in Arbonne. So either with your launches, which I'll discuss in a bit, social media live launches, discover Arbonne talks, one-to-ones, never go off and pee Arbonne all over your network from a great height. Your sponsor, I love that saying from Leanne, your sponsor is there to help you with the best wording possible when you are sharing what Arbonne is. So that's getting into activity. So that's your A. B for belief. Start to build your belief in a few areas. Arbonne as a company, network marketing, the industry, the products by using them, and belief in yourself too, which I think is one that we often forget. Arbonne is very simple, but it's not easy. Sorry, I'm just scrolling. Arbonne is very simple, but it's not easy. Sometimes we don't have a lot of beliefs in ourselves that we can actually do Arbonne. If you think about it, that's so normal. We've never done Arbonne before, and most of us have never had a business before. So really immerse yourself in personal development to build belief in yourself. My favorite book for that was Get Over Your Damn Self. So there's another one. I'm going to talk about books in a minute, but that's something that you really could just read in your first month. Get over your damn self. Start to meditate, visualize, affirmate. Those were things that I was a bit like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I've never done any of that, but it really does work. So building belief in all of those things. I often have a lot of people tell me that when I speak about Arbonne, my passion comes across and that I'm passionate about what it is. I didn't sign up as a consultant, pay my £30, and then suddenly that gave me passion. My belief developed as I started to understand and read into the industry more, why it's so genius and how many lives Arbonne has changed. My skin dramatically improved when I started to use the products. My friends and family were reporting amazing results from using the products. And then I could start to share Arbonne with a lot more conviction because I believed that what I had to offer was an amazing gift. So that's B for belief. It's so, so, so important to start building your belief in your first month. C for coachable. And I think there are quite a lot of C's in Arbonne in a lot of trainings, but I think in your first month, C for coachable really stood out to me. So when you're brand new, you must be so coachable in your first month, more than ever. Your sponsor, if they aren't brand new too, in which case you will still have a great upline there to help you. You must stick to them like glue if you want to succeed in Arbonne. They're following the system, hopefully. They're following the system, putting in the work, seeing the success. So if you also want that, emulate what they do because they know what works. I always say this, but please do not try to reinvent the wheel because it will just make it so much harder for you to come back from if you go and do, you know, whatever you think works and then, you know, coming back from that is just going to be so difficult. So my advice would be, as soon as your sponsor guides you to do something, come back with, right, I've done that. What do I do now? What do I do next? They'd much rather hear from you. Like, speaking as someone who has a team, I'd much rather hear from a team member 10 times a day, all through my night, and than never at all. So audios is another one. So that's A, B, and C, and then I'm going to just list a few things that are really great in your first month. So audios, listen to one audio a day. A few for your first week, especially. These are kind of ones that I've highlighted. Again, don't worry too much about trying to scribble all of these down, but you'll recognize them anyway if you've been in Arbonne a while. So especially these, Darren Hardy making the shift. And I know in our team, we do send that out like kind of immediately when someone starts, along with 60-second story, which is, God, I can't think of her name. An Australian lady. I can't quite think. Maybe someone could write it in the chat.
Tamerlan Samuel.
That's it.
Tamerlan Samuel.
Yeah, so that's learning your 60-second story. We always think, oh my God, if someone asks me what is Arbonne, I have no idea what to say. So that really helps with that. So if you're new, definitely jump on that if you haven't already. Business of the 21st Century, I believe that's by Robert Kiyosaki, and that's on YouTube, another brilliant one. I did a training quite recently that I found's really been helping my team to send them quite early on, which is the system for success that we have and just how simple it is, so that people really start to understand the system that we have and why following that is just simple and so important. Also, just all the trainings that we have really are amazing, but always be on them live if you can. Show up in your business. So if you're on this live, amazing, well done. So books, GoPro, I think all of you have probably heard of that. Read that in your first month. It's available on PDF if you prefer reading a book. It's really cheap on Amazon. I would say, you know, that is a must to read in your first month. Like, it's kind of like such an easy read, I found. But if you can start to read 10 pages a day, you know, some people really are so hectic. But if you start to read 10 pages a day, that is such a good habit to get into. I can't remember how many books that equals to in a year, but I think I've read about 25 books in about a year, and it's just been such a game changer for me. So really do read GoPro in your first month. It shouldn't take any longer than that. And I know I mentioned Get Over Your Damn Self as well. That is brilliant. A couple of things that I think we often forget to mention is just regarding your website. So when you become a consultant, obviously you get your own website. Make sure you're familiar with your website, how to navigate it. It's your website. Websites cost so much. I think even Jess was saying the other day how much it costs to run her website for her yoga stuff. And you get yours for what, £30 and so much else for that as well. So it's your website, know how to navigate it. And then obviously when you start to have a team, you can show them how to navigate theirs. The source is so important to be able to find. That's in My Resources in your Arbonne website. And it's just like an Arbonne Google. You can find anything in there, the compensation plan, the updated free gift list, any information on any products, fizz sticks, whatever you want. Add a display photo in there so customers can distinguish you amongst other consultants who may share the same name with you. That's so important. And then add in your bank details. A few people are missing this in the hecticness of everything. Pop your bank details in there so you can get paid. In your first week, aim to do at least two Arbonne launches. If you haven't heard that word yet, I know it does sound a bit scary, but it's literally just sharing with your network why you've started Arbonne and what it's all about. So Zoom, Instagram, Facebook Lives, group presentations in person, speak to your sponsor about what's best for you. I think it's good to do a variety if you can. Like I said, these can seem a bit daunting, but at the end of the day, in Arbonne, we get paid to share with people what Arbonne is. We are walking, talking billboards for Arbonne, and there is no limit to how many people we can share this with. And I just think the longer that you delay doing these launches, you know, some people still haven't launched, and that, you know, a few months in, it's vital that you do that as soon as possible, because you're just delaying your business by not doing that. They help you to grow and to get out of your comfort zone, and you can't grow inside your comfort zone. Everyone says that, we all know that. So just get them over and done with, and you'll find that just from doing that, so many different other aspects in your life, you'll start to, you know, really improve. So after you've done 2 to 3 launches, don't stop, keep growing. I know so many in my team and in the wider team as well are really making use of Instagram and Facebook lives. They are absolutely brilliant. You know, you'd be blind, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute, a bit about social media. You'd be blind to not see the power of recommending on social media. And, you know, when you go live, you get that word out to so many people. Even if you just inspire one person, isn't that great, doing that for your business? So keep doing the lives on Instagram and Facebook to share your growth as well. Share what you're loving about the products. If you're starting to do the 30 days to healthy living, talk about the progress of that. That's going to really inspire people. Become a product of the products. I know we mentioned this a lot in your first 7 days, and actually this does apply only in the UK. So if you're not in the UK, don't worry about this. You have kind of like a cooling off period. So you're limited to £200 that you can spend in your first week. So obviously there's that, but then after that, it really is vital that you start to use as many of the products as you can to build your belief. It's your business as well. So why would you pay to use other brands? Support your own, and then also your team will duplicate and do the same. Social media. So like I said, just going to talk a little bit on social media. It's vital that you start to utilize it. Like I said, you'd be blind to not see the power of being able to recommend on social media to hundreds and hundreds of people at one time as well. We use hashtags, we use locations, people are recommending brands all the time on Instagram and Facebook and things, stories as well. Start to incorporate Arbonne into your social media. Never vomit Arbonne all over that. Start to incorporate Arbonne into your life. That is what Arbonne is all about as well. And I think it's great to do that solely on your main account. Some people often create a separate account, but I think if you can show people that this is so easy to incorporate in, then they'll likely be inspired to be able to do that as well. We always want to keep this simple. So share your progress, why you're excited. Even simple things like maybe if you try the greens for the first time, you're like, oh my God, this is awful. Share that. People find that funny, and just really engage with people. Use polls, use quizzes. I know we've said this a lot, but if you're new, use polls and quizzes on your Instagram and Facebook stories so that people can engage. I think they work really, really well. Starting to learn how to share Arbonne. So it's been wild recently with how many people have joined, and I think this is something that has kind of been lost, because there's been as well, I think with lockdown and everything, there have been so many Discover Arbonne talks going on. So we cannot stress enough, you really do need to learn how to share Arbonne yourself. It's vital that you become an independent consultant as soon as possible. If you're independent, you can help to get your team independent, and that is what this is all about. And you don't want to rely on people. I started to do this as soon as possible. So learn the Discover Arbonne slides and the script that goes with it. You can find those both on Nation Collaboration, the Facebook page. But yeah, like I said, it's just vital that you know how to share it. And I mean, there's a script, so most of the work is done for you. You just really need to learn it. And I find that just, writing it out, but in your own words, that's what I did. I wrote it out in my own words, and then I said it a few times over and over. And then you can also voice record yourself and then just play that back whenever you've got a spare minute, whenever you're walking to the shop, I don't know. So I think that's pretty much all I've got for now. I did speak to Donna. I was like, have I missed anything? So I don't know, if anyone thinks I have missed anything, then go for it. Like I said, I just want everyone to remember the ABC. So activity, belief, and being really coachable is so important. But I just want to say something that's actually, been on my mind recently and that's so current right now. People need Arbonne, and they are begging for what we have, and they're searching for this. They don't know it. Most people don't. We didn't. But they are. So please just look for people to help. We start this business to earn more, leave our jobs, be with our families more, but ultimately this business is about helping others. So our community is absolutely like no other, and it really is our duty to share that. And I think that is why we've had so many people join recently, because it's our duty to find those people. Anyway, I've saved it as a little bit of a surprise. I have the absolute honor of handing over to an absolute rocket in my team. She absolutely smashed her first month in Arbonne, so I wanted you all to hear from her. And in her second month, which was May, just gone, she was literally this far away from AMQ. So I just can't wait for you all to hear from her, and I'm going to hand over so she can share some top tips over to the amazing district manager, Jess Tubbs.
Hi everyone. Hiya. So yeah, like Hattie said, in the second month of my business, I went to district manager, which was so exciting. And I think the main thing is I had no idea. I was just like, okay, that's fine, I'll do this and I'll do that. And then I got there, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did it, but I don't really know how, and I didn't really pay attention to the points. It's more of like the consistent energy and the consistent what's the word? I guess the work, really. So I put together a few things that I mainly focused on, and also kind of like program my mind to believe and think. So first things first, so everyone's asked to come up with their why when they first start Arbonne, and at first I did have one, but I wouldn't say it was a strong one. I think it was mainly the fact that I didn't like my job, which some people do like their job, some people don't. I would say most people don't. So I was thinking, yeah, I want to do this to get out of my job, but I didn't want to say that on the lives, because people that I work with were going to be watching. So if you're worried that you don't want to like say to the world that you don't like your job, that's fine, because I definitely haven't said that out loud. So yeah, so you want to create your why, and over time that will build. So it's so important to keep your eye on that. Now, you can have really amazing reasons why. So mine is to renovate a camper van and drive around Europe for as long as I can. But then I've also got smaller reasons as well, and that is literally to leave my job, be able to just go on like cycles and go out and see my grandparents rather than going to work. Because before I got an adult job, I guess, I would go and meet my mum and dad, or my mum and nan and granddad in Marks and Spencer's for coffee, but I can't do that anymore because I'm now an adult. So yeah, like I say, keep your eye on your reason why, because that is going to keep you going. And also, when I first started, my boyfriend was not really up for me to doing this. So he was like, what are you doing that for? Like, that's just so silly. Why are you doing that? And you will get this. I mean, if everyone in your life is supportive, that's amazing. You're so, so lucky. But say, for example, there's one or two people and your friends, they think they're trying to protect you by telling you not to do it. But I flipped that reason to give me fuel to prove them wrong. And I would say my first 2 or 3 weeks in the business, I was just like, I don't care what they have to say. Like, I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to use this as fuel to prove you all wrong. So, and also I want you to think about like what your life is going to look like this time next year. So I think a lot of people, they start their Arbonne business, and if they don't see amazing results in the first few months, they're like, oh, it's just not for me. Well, Hattie's been doing it a year and she's doing amazing. Everyone's got a different path. I'm not saying you're going to do it in a year. I'm not saying you can't do it in 3 weeks or 3 months or whatever. So everyone's different, but just keep your eye on what your life could look like if you just keep going. And like I say, use your negative energy as fuel. Just prove those negative people wrong. How smug are you going to be when you're at the top of Arbonne and all those people are telling you you shouldn't do it? So I am quite a positive person. So I've never really, I mean, everyone has their down moments, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not high on rainbows and butterflies 24/7, but I am quite a positive person. So say, for example, one day you've reached out to 20 people and the only 3 people that have got back to you are a no. Use that as positivity. Just write 3 people have responded. I said no to the business 5 times. So I could be one of those no's you've got. So write them down, like have them on a list, and then you can go back to them a few weeks later, because they may have changed their mind, they may have seen something else, they may have lost their job. You just don't know what's going to have happened in their situation. So that's another thing. If you speak to someone about the business or the products, or you think that they'll be really good at the business, or they've mentioned something to you like a pain point, so they hate their job, they want more time, etc. Write them on a list, because I guarantee you will forget. I am so forgetful when it comes to names, so if something pops into your head, write them down. And also, I'm like, visualize your life like glass half full, never be glass half empty kind of person. So say, for example, you're like, oh, no one's responding to me. Just think, right, okay, no one has responded, but I'm so excited to find that person that wants to know more. Like, just keep not hunting, but keep looking for those people you want to help. And I think when people start their Arbonne journey, they think, oh yeah, but I'm just going to be pestering people. I'm going to be pestering. And I hear that every time someone new starts, that, yeah, but I'm just going to be pestering. I'm going to annoy them. No, you're not. You're not going to be annoying them, because Hattie, at first, she messaged me, but never did I think it was annoying. I just thought she wanted to share an opportunity with me, and it wasn't for me at first. But I'm so grateful that she was consistent in messaging me. And I finally, well, I think I said no 5 times, and then I came back and I was like, actually, can I do it now? I'm like one of those annoying kids that are told by their parents so many times, and then I'm like, okay, I'll do it now. So yeah, like I say, just keep being pleasantly persistent. And I wouldn't, because I've heard in the past some people, they're messaging the same person on separate conversations, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. That is a little bit annoying and a bit much. So I would say, the first message, if they've acted interested, but then the conversation dies, maybe go back like the next day. But if they're literally been like, no, and you go back the next day, like, how about now? They're going to still be like a no. So you need to show them something. You need to put something on your story that might spark something in their brain and go, oh yeah, like, okay. So another big thing that's really helped me is I'm a very visual person. So yes, I write everything down, but I need to kind of imagine in my brain where I want to go. So say, for example, you're just sat here going, oh yeah, like I want to be a district manager, I want to be an AMQ or area manager or whatever. You need to visualize it, and you need to visualize people joining your team, and you need to visualize the QV coming in and your stories and everything. Because if you don't visualize anything, it's not, well, likely it's not going to happen. You need to see it all in front of you in your brain, and then it'll be there. Because, and also make those things you see a positive thing. So now this is kind of something that relates to my life. It probably doesn't relate to any of yours, but I am a competitive skier. So I do slalom races. And when I was first doing it when I was younger, I would think, right, on that bump I'd probably fall over, so I need to slow down. And on that gate I would need to take a wider line because I might fall over. And I would always visualize the places where I'd fall over and crash. But in actual fact, I train my mind to see the finish line and think, how can I get there faster? So don't think of the negative things that are going to get in your way, like people ignoring you, or you're not having any replies, or a live doesn't go as well. Don't visualize those things. Just think, right, that's another person that's a no, or that's another exposure with my live. Just get to the finish line. And yeah, so I've covered making lists. So my cousin, she had a really good idea, and I think it's probably quite good for everyone, especially if you're new, because when you first start, like, oh my god, there's so much to do, there's so many names, I don't want to forget anything. So make 4 columns. So you've got the list of names, and then you've got a list of interested in products, and then bought products, interested in business, a part of the business, and then you can highlight and track. And when she showed me that, I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense, because you can just see it, it's clear. And I would say probably the last thing I would say is, like Hattie said, be consistent. So that's doing your Insta posts. So I would say I do 2 or 3 or 4 Insta posts a day. Obviously, like Hattie said, you don't want to just shit Arbonne on everyone, because everyone's going to be like, for God's sake, like everyone's just going to be like, Jess, you didn't do Arbonne and now that's all you talk about, like, what are you doing? So if you went for walks every day, or if you went for coffee every day, still post it, just maybe like intertwine Arbonne to it as well. So yeah, Insta post, lives, and message people. Don't ever think, oh, like, today's gone, I haven't really messaged anyone, I'll just do it tomorrow. Like, sit in bed and message 10 or 20 people, because Then the next morning, you can hopefully have some messages to read through, and that's going to then start your day really, really positive, and you're going to feel really happy with yourself. Like I said, listening and reading to audios and books and stuff like that, that's really helped. And duplicate your sponsor. Like, I've literally done pretty much everything that Hattie's doing because I want to be in the same situation as Hattie. So duplicate your sponsor. And also, because obviously on WhatsApp, I'm presuming most people have done this, you've got a group chat with people that you're going to be sponsoring. Don't then go private message them, or if they private message you, just say, let's bring it to the group chat, because if it's about the business, you want to be talking about this in the group chat with your upline, because if you start talking to them in a private group chat, they are then going to think, oh, that's normal. So when they start sponsoring loads of people, they're going to have so many private group chats, you're not going to know what's going on. And then I would say, other than that, and a good thing I heard yesterday is you're not their manager. You want to be in control of the people you sponsor, but just take a step back and think, I'm here to help and guide them. I think when you first start your Arbonne business, you're like, right, oh my God, I'm a manager now. Like, I've got a team. I need to make sure they're doing everything. I need to know their whole routine. Yes, okay, you want to help them set out a guide and be successful and do lots of activity, but you don't want them to think, oh, for goodness sake, like, go away. Like, you want to help them. You want to help them grow. You're not their manager. I would say that they are the main things I would say. Oh, yeah, and like Hattie said, be a product of the product. So many people are like, oh, I've done my first order, but I'm not going to buy anymore till I've made some money. I'm like, well, if you look at any business ever, you're going to be running in the red for years and years. If you like to start like a salon, a building company, a shop, anything, you're going to be over what you've obviously spent to start that business. Whereas with Arbonne, it's such a small cost. If you work your business, and obviously everyone's different, then it shouldn't take that long for you to then be in the positives. But I think that's everything from me, Hattie. Sorry if that was a bit of a ramble.
Oh my God. I mean, wasn't she worth the 5 reach outs? Like, please join my team. No, I wasn't really like that. But you just literally a fountain of knowledge. Like, everyone says, oh my God, Jess has been in the business like just over 2 months. And it's like you've been in Arbonne for years. You know so much. You're a fountain of knowledge, and you just pour out everything, and that was so helpful. And I know so many, I mean, the chat is blowing up. I know so many people would have got so much from that, so many nuggets of information. So thank you so much, Jess. I'm so glad I asked you to train. I knew you would absolutely smash it. And yeah, thank you so much to everyone for jumping on. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.